Welcome back to Magical Women. I'm your host, Connie Boyd, and this week I'm speaking to Ekaterina, and this is part 2 of our conversation.
Looking back, like I mentioned, like I feel like my experience is a set of failures, but because of those failures, you learn more than if it was just like upwards. So I think
learn more.
That's important too.
Yeah.
And I mentioned a bit, the other thing that I think all magicians are scared of is missing a trick. Well, that had happened to me on TV, so that's a fun one. It was actually the fullest performance. That's when there was an error. Although they tried to, I guess, erase it in editing.
Okay.
I come back to Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will. And I wanted to do something different. I've had done a lot of appearances with my trick layers. Like it was also in the UK with an X-ray magician. I'll share some clips. Like I've overdone card tricks. So I felt like I need footage of myself doing mentalism, like just talking, and that's it. And then there's a prediction and there's a story. So I worked a lot on the story of the red balloon, the Banksy painting. I had all the rights. The picture got cleared. We were able to showcase that. I thought, I really connected with that image. So the story was good. I didn't like my intro, although I know you mentioned maybe we shared. I didn't like the way the intro was done. I felt the interview questions were not that good, and the way that they've edited it, I actually don't like it. But that's besides the point. And then so the actual performance, we were able to do a run through before we actually performed in front of Penn and Teller. So just where the cameras are, like where to look, what to do. So we had a whole run through. In my practice round, everything was flawless. People were like, I knew I was not going to fool Penn and Teller with this routine. That was not my intention. I just needed footage. Again, I'm thinking like a marketer. I need this footage to sell myself to these type of different
skill set,
Exactly. And then more footage on stage. I don't do a lot of stage. I know you have a lot of stage experience. I lack maybe stage experience. So doing stage and being on TV is more on the risky side for me. Doing close up on TV, that's fine. But anyways, I was on stage. I had rehearsed this trick like a lot, and I've used it in my gigs. Every time I had a chance, I would perform this to make sure it's flawless. That was my biggest concern. My biggest concern was not what would Alyson do, because I thought my instructions to her would be clear enough. At the most important moment, when she was holding on to the balloon, and I told her, no matter what, do not let go of the balloon. So I thought that instruction was clear enough. But when the balloon popped with the spray, which had citrus inside, so it wasn't paint. I don't know why she was scared I was going to paint her, or I don't know. It was citrus spray that pops, latex or whatever. And she got scared. She let go of the balloon. And if you know what happens when a balloon pops, it just like has a random trajectory and lands wherever. But inside there was supposed to be my prediction. So here we are just standing, and there's no balloon, no prediction. She feels bad, obviously, because there was nothing to be scared about. Like the balloon just popped. She could have just held on to the string. So, like, I don't know what to do. I've not rehearsed the moment where someone would not be holding on to the prediction. There's a time spent, I don't know how much, between 1 and 5 minutes, where she's looking for that piece of, balloon. So she finds it, she brings it back. We go back into our camera positions. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to refilm this part? Because I don't know how you're going to edit this. Everyone's like, how does the girl that teaches like really tough cardistry things like mess up a switch that is so easy? If I show it to layman, it's fine. It helps me like get some new clients, like that purpose was achieved. But if another magician watches it, it's not the same reaction, and I have to maintain a certain level of skill credibility in front of magicians because I'm selling products to them. So that was a mess up, and I don't know. Recently, someone re-uploaded it on YouTube, and it had more negative comments on it. I just don't check it anymore. But like, I understand it's not a good performance.
It happens to all of us, and it is the worst. You feel naked. You're just standing there with no clothes on, and you're trying to think and trying to cover. If I was performing and you saw me turning very slowly, repeatedly. There was something really wrong on stage. And I thought if I kept moving, I could think it out. So I would do these slow pirouettes. And my brain's going, trying to find plan B, C, and D. And even if you've done something for 15 years, it seems if there's a critic in the audience, if there's a camera in front of you, if there's that extra element of pressure, Murphy's Law happens, and something that's never happened in I don't know how many thousands of performances happens at that time. And it's just it's devastating when it happens, but it happens to everybody. And I would imagine maybe it's other people make a mistake and it's just a forgivable mistake, but when a magician makes a mistake, it's really not forgivable. So there's a lot more pressure to be perfect.
Yeah, no, it was very awkward. People had to be cute to applaud at the end of that performance. So there isn't much of a reaction. It was very awkward. But one thing that I had learned, and actually learned this from juggling, because when you're juggling, there's more chances to screw up than when you do magic, statistically. And I still love the circus and would go back to Cirque du Soleil here. They're in Montreal. They're from Montreal. So I go every season. I don't know what's going to happen to the circus and when we'll be able to go back to watching the circus. But every time someone drops something, every time. It's rare that everything's perfect. So the difference is what's your attitude and reaction towards that drop. And and it's all like in your head. If you're brainwashing yourself that you're happy, everything is good, your body will, look fine externally. But if in your mind you're freaking out and it's like, if for you it's the end of the world and you're like your facial expression is like you're frustrated, people won't give you the chance to try again. Because they don't want to see you get more angry. Right? They come to be entertained.
They don't want to see you fail. Although sometimes I think they enjoy to see you fail.
That's a different kind of audience, but
But no, it's true. It's the reality of show business. I tell the people that I work with that the audience doesn't have a reference. They don't know what it's to be. So if you sell whatever happens on stage, they don't know if it was supposed to be a red dot or a black dot, or if you were supposed to drop it or not drop it. But if you handle it, like I always drop the silk, it always happens, then the audience just assumes that this is what happens. It's only other professionals who know more or less what you were supposed to be doing. They may catch it, and or people that have seen your show numerous times, and then they obviously will say, wait a minute, that's not normal. But sometimes if you just can confidently keep going on, they didn't really catch what was the grand mistake that was behind you. Not always, but sometimes.
Exactly. Sometimes you get away with it, for sure. That's why I think close-up is easier, because you can quickly recover with another trick very easily. Whereas I feel stage, you're following a certain set, right? So you have maybe a little bit less flexibility. And it's more noticeable when something goes wrong.
You don't have usually that luxury of dialogue or misdirection, and that you can.
Especially if you're performing with music.
Yes, it's a little more limiting. How did you start with product evaluations? Did it evolve from the tutorials? So you started doing tutorials and then it evolved into product evaluations, or vice versa?
So I started with tutorials, and I don't know, it was the year actually that I had my son, and I had taken a lot of time off working. Although I was still traveling to do magic, I still had some days where I had time. And so it's then that I decided, you know what, there was the Wizard product review at that time. There wasn't many people reviewing magic. So I thought, you know what, the way I could be different is I could actually perform these things, because I love to do street magic. I still love to do street magic. For me, the best part is when I'm not paid and I'm randomly surprising someone with magic. Like, it's really like genuine reaction from them. Because sometimes when you're hired to do magic, people are like, okay, show me a magic trick, magician.
Impress me.
Like, you impress me, you owe me something. Whereas people don't owe you, like, you don't know them, complete strangers. I really like complete stranger reactions sometimes. so yeah, so I thought, this would force me to go back to not only perform street magic, but also I would go back to, developing myself and learning new things, because I felt like I needed to refresh what I had as far as magic. And there was a lot of releases. So I started by purchasing things myself, and then very quickly I had Murphy's Magic offer to go through their list of products. And then from that list, you would pick the items you want to review. So then I did that. And quickly, what disappointed me with that list is that the tricks that people on my channel wanted me to review, or that I wanted to review, were not on the list. And when I would ask about those items, well, they were not available for review. So I started to contact the creators directly. And some creators had started to contact me directly to review things. And that interaction I preferred more than just going through a list of products.
Right.
So I had stopped going through a list of products. And I actually had said to the folks that were following my channel, like, guys, I have a PO box now. So I set up a PO box, and I'm like, look, anyone can send me a magic product. It doesn't have to be a big company. Anyone can send me magic, and I'll take a look at it and review it. And Murphy jumped on that opportunity also, and started to send me massive boxes of products. And most of the products they would send me were really bad items. Like, no one wanted those items, and they would sell to me in hopes that it would, like, again, maybe I'm not talking nicely about them right now, but the reality is a lot of the stuff that I reviewed, I gave a bad review. I feel bad about it. I guess they feel bad about it. And I'm like, just don't send me things anymore. Like, I need to request something. Like, I can't. So me receiving things started to go downhill, because there was a lot of things I couldn't give a good review to, and I had to remain credible and really say what I truly believed.
Right.
And it's my opinion, and it remains my opinion. So some items, like, still people disagree that I gave a negative review, but to be honest, most people did agree.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these bigger magic companies stopped interact with me, I guess, because they felt like I maybe damaged them a little bit. And I think it works for me to have my own company and be independent from all of these magic companies,
right?
Because I just cannot play by someone else's rules. Like, I cannot say a script. So I really, so there is a lot of still brave companies that continue to send me things, but they would ask me before. They're like, okay, there's this trick. What do you think? Do you want to review it? I think they want to do a little bit of an elimination process to see, how I would feel about it before sending it to me. Because they know if I get it and I don't like it, I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
But so I appreciate those that, can take some criticism, and I can take some criticism. I've released products. I know what it takes. I know how sad it is to receive a bad review.
Right.
Luckily, on all my products, there's 5-star rating, but that's because also I believe that customer satisfaction will be better than the performance of your product. So if there was any issue with anything that I had shipped to anyone, I would always make sure that it's fixed, whatever the issue is.
Right.
That's why I don't have any shipping or return policy on my site. Is whatever problem there is, I'm going to fix it. So I don't have a policy. I'm just going to fix it.
Right.
And I'm going to personally fix it. So, and I'm personally shipping things. So there's a few decisions that I've taken on my e-commerce website where I know it's more expensive and more time consuming, but at the end of the day, it's going to give 100% satisfaction to anyone buying.
And you have control of your brand, and you have control of your product, and you have control of your reputation. And
my brand, had cost me a lot of money to develop. It's not cheap to release things yourself. Right. But I think where I was with the fact that I had several revenue streams, I had magic, I had commercials coming in, I had, my business role at L'Oreal, all of these things had allowed me to be comfortable to spend whatever I would make in magic, I would reinvest in my magic business.
Right.
And then I think besides the deck of cards, this one, now I use this because it's very hot these days. So without the card clip, your cards just get warped. So the other big investment that I've done, which I zero regret, is my camera and my lighting equipment. Taking this basement, there was nothing here. I've spent money to build it, and, you know, make walls and work out the sound. So I've invested in video production and learning how that works. So that had cost me a lot of money to my business to do that. But I've seen return from this. And now that most of things happen through video these days, like I don't have to rush and buy like a cheap microphone, whatever, to just be able to film and show something. Like, I've been already set up for many years.
And the quality of your video, the quality, it's superb. It's shot beautifully. It's crystal clear. It's edited beautifully. The music is excellent. It's really, really beautiful work. You should be very proud.
Thank you. I try, and it takes a lot of time to make videos, and sometimes I wish I had more time to invest. But the thing is, right now, because I mentioned, I don't only market myself, I market other brands. Like, I end up working on so many things with my equipment, not just my own projects. So that's where the juggling comes in. Okay, so do I do a sprint and work on a few videos? Last week I did a sprint on my channel. I released 3 videos, like one after the other.
Wow.
That was very time consuming. I was going to bed at 2 a.m. I was trying to make this happen. But yeah, for instance, the fun part of having all this equipment is I can pivot my company in any way I want. So for instance, like this week I had taken a mandate of doing lifestyle photography for Apple products. So the cool part here is that, you know, I have all the latest Apple stuff. I didn't have to get anything. I have the AirPods. I have, like, I'm sold on Apple pretty much. So I have all that. I have really cool cameras and, you know, a really cool space. So I worked on a few photos, and, you know, just working on a few photos can pay basically your month. So that's cool. So that's again, thinking about what can you do? What is the skill set that you have? I think beyond just doing magic tricks that can be sustainable and that you should develop, because it could be a nice revenue stream. But when you think about photography, there's so much more competition than in magic.
Yes.
So why would someone go with you? Why they know I exist? Because of my YouTube channel, because I put things out there all the time. It's like you just have to get out there and put stuff in the open. And if you don't, and if you don't continuously, you know, try to do that, then, you know, there's just too much noise, and it's going to be hard for you to differentiate yourself.
Thank you so very, much. Very much.
Bye-bye. Speak soon. Oh, there you go.
Remember to subscribe and comment below.